I wanted to talk about this because earlier this week, Disney stock essentially collapsed. I mean, it went
Mhm.
down, $20 billion or something like that. I mean, it was not, not a small amount of money. I don't know if it's really recovered much since then. I think it went up a little bit today. Um, the Essentially, yeah, it went up 30 cents. Big whoop. You can see obviously big drop here. You go
Right.
1 month, you can see it crater here at $116, dropped all the way to 105, so more than 10%. So they lost about 20 billion with a B dollars.
Whew.
What in like an hour. And it essentially boiled down to the fact of Disney Plus had been losing about $1 billion a year,
Right.
400 million per quarter. And actually, in Q1 of 2024, it made a little bit of money. I mean, it's funny.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, it made 40 million. It's like that's basically nothing because they have been losing 500 million a quarter up until now. Um, and Bob Iger, who is basically the returning CEO for Disney and Marvel right now, has basically said like, "Hey, here's how I'm going to fix it. Less is more." Now, one of the interesting parts of that is that if you look at their last, I don't know, they had like maybe a dozen movies come out in 2023, maybe 10,
Right.
and 8 of them lost 50 to 150 million dollars. With Captain Marvel, I'm sorry, the Marvels losing 250 million.
Oh, and then
The
she lost had to
Oh
lose
yeah,
a
she
lot.
lost big money, but they're less transparent about that. But we know they spent, was it 20 million? It was millions per episode they spent. And obviously it was a huge loss because they didn't even renew it for a second season, which by the way, She-Hulk actually could have been good if it was a court drama. Like I
I
might
think
have
so
watched that.
too. I think so too. I would have really enjoyed a good court drama, but that's where the show fell short is they just put so much effort on just hating the audience and
Yeah.
it wasn't good in the whole superhero department and it also wasn't good in the court drama department. So if you're not going to give us a good story on either of those and the most of the focus is on the main character's failing dating life and her being so insufferable that you don't even feel bad for her that her dating life is so bad and hating on the audience, then there's just really nothing to hold
Yeah.
on to there.
Yeah, there's no redeeming factor and the
Mhm.
redeeming quality. And the funny thing was, okay, so if it had been like I remember I watched The Practice pretty hardcore for a little while because it
Mhm.
was like a courtroom drama. And then there's Law and Order was also one. If you would have did a weekly show with like cameos from like Wolverine or or Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man,
Right.
or like, and well, you wouldn't have to spend all that on CGI for Robert Downey Jr. You just keep him as Robert Downey Jr. or Mark Ruffalo, which they did bring in. He wasn't, and they had him as
Right.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, if you had like actually did the courtroom drama thing, it might have
Mhm.
been a quirky, fun show.
I
Um,
agree.
but what's funny is what people are, when you read between the lines of what Bob Iger is saying, where he said now he's going to limit Marvel movies to 2 or 3 max per year. He's not saying what the headlines say is that, "Oh, they're gonna focus on quality, not quantity." But
Right.
the reality is he's gonna save the company $1 billion by not putting out 10 movies that lose 100 million
Yeah,
each. You know what I mean?
exactly.
That's the actual reality. It's not that they're gonna have better movies or better outcome. It's like, "Oh, we're only gonna make 8 movies that tank instead of,
Yep.
we're gonna make 3 instead of 10." Do you think, like, okay, I don't think you probably wouldn't disagree that Deadpool Wolverine's gonna do well, right? That movie's gonna do well.
I think it probably will. I'm kind of not really interested in it personally, but I can see it doing well. There's a lot of
It's good.
hype around it.
Yeah, it's gonna do great. If it was like, I think it'll do 750 to $900 million. It will be that big because it's not just Wolverine, it's the original Wolverine. It's not like
Right.
it's actually Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine that we all know, and
Mhm.
it will do well. But What do you think? I mean, so they put out 2 movies a year instead of 10. I personally don't think that matters. I don't think that makes a difference. I
No.
think that people don't like their movies anyway, so they'll only have 2 do you think that they're actually gonna focus on quality over quantity?
No, I don't think so. I think that they've already really ruined a lot of their reputation as well. And you would think after, okay, here's the first movie or TV show that we've done that's tanked from ruining from people's fandom. Uh, and oh, oops, we did it a second time, a third time.
Yeah.
You think after those first couple of times, they would, okay, we really have to restructure here. But what they've done is they've rubbed it in our faces so much, and they've really shown that, hey, we care more about this message and hitting this agenda. And oh, by the way, with this next thing, we can only hire directors and stuff if they are, we have to hit that black female quota, so on and so forth, or that women quota. um to the point of just flat out hating on the audience as well. They've rubbed it in our faces too much to where it's at the point to where even if they release something that was better at this point, it would take a lot to get that trust back. And
Is
it's a
it is
kitty.
this distracting you?
A little bit, but it's good.
These my chonkers. The,
Oh.
yeah, I think that even if I think that okay, let's say in 20 actually, if you look at the release schedule for 2024, there's, Deadpool, Wolverine,
Mhm.
and then I th is that, like, Black Captain America is one of another one, I think, and I've read that there's a ton of reshoots and that, like, there's I mean, it's just not a good movie. By the way, no one wants to see there why isn't Chris Evans playing Captain America? There's no
Exactly.
excuse.
I
It
think they
was
need to scrap the stuff that is already on the slate that nobody wants to see, and you know it'll tank. They should have done that with the Marvels.
Yep.
Um, uh, they knew. I think going into it and knowing what the audience reception, how everything else went, they had to know it was going to flop. So it's better not to release it at all than release it and let it flop and ruin your reputation even more.
It would have been yeah, but they're so committed to the DEI and the wokeness and
Yeah.
this that like, the funniest thing about and by the way, I don't just so people who are just tuning in, I don't know if you knew because, now we've got like 5,000 people. I just wanna let you know, what Melanie's buddy sent me here, you know? I'm definitely gonna be I'm gonna be hobbying with this action figure, later tonight. There's an action peen on it. There's, man pawns. I'm very excited to hobby with this later. But like, I can okay, so let's say you were doing 3 movies and only a year, and one was Deadpool, Wolverine, and the other was, like, a good movie, and the other was a good movie. Okay, sure. But that's not what they're gonna do. They're gonna do
Right.
Deadpool, Wolverine, they're gonna make 2 or 300,000,000 net, maybe, and then they're gonna put out Black Captain America, no one wants to see that. And then they have a Fantastic Four movie. It's like, do
Oh.
they not nobody cares about the Fantastic
I
Four.
know Fantastic Four has already flopped over and over again, and
How
so
many times have they failed with Fantastic Four? No
I
one
think a
cares.
super ambitious thing would have been if they did a Fantastic Four that was actually good, and people are like, "Whoa, wait a minute! The first actually really good Fantastic Four movie." But they're already, "Oh, we're going with the female Silver Surfer this time. Oh, we're going with the
And their
Pedro
stupid powers are
Pascal."
boring and lame.
Yeah,
Let
and
me
it's like
stretch.
you're already you got the woke Pedro Pascal actor, which if he's in anything, especially something that
I'm out.
is
Yep.
surrounding the nerd culture fandom, I'm already checked out. Um, and so instead of trying to win over their existing fans, they're still doing more or less a lot of the same stuff, just less. It's not a winning strategy.
No, yeah, exactly. It's not gonna work. Like, I feel like Bob Iger should rip us off each a check for 5 mil. It's not even that much. Okay. Considering they lost 250,000,000 on the Marvels, and
Mhm.
both of us would have said not to release that movie. Like, would
Right.
have been like, "No, everybody knows that Captain Marvel made $1,000,000,000 because it was marketed as required reading for Endgame. That's the only reason
Mhm.
anybody saw it." And then when they came out, I called it. If you go back, like, to I have 8,000 videos or whatever. If you go back, I guarantee you I said yeah, it made money. I'm not going to deny that, but it's the only reason it did is because it was like, oh, if you want to know what really is going to
Yep.
happen, you got to see this movie. So, now it's like, okay, Deadpool, Wolverine, sure. Is there another Deadpool movie in them? Sure, but even I think I'm already getting sick of them. Like,
Yeah.
if you did like I don't know why they don't do more origin stories. Like, if they did an origin story for like Gambit or like, I mean, they could do Storm. I mean, black female, it writes itself.
Yeah.
But like, I don't get. They're like, oh, Ryan Coogler's coming back for yet another Black Panther movie. It's like, that no one's going to see that either. Like, Black Panther made $1 billion because Aquaman made $1 billion when it came out.
Right.
Like, everyone was seeing every superhero movie. Marvel, there's so much more now. Like, with the X-Men universe that they could build out and do it right if they will go
I
dark.
just Yeah, X-Men was I love the X-Men, but unfortunately, I just don't think that they are capitalized on enough. They haven't had enough good stuff. I mean, we had it with the older I loved the
Dude,
90s first
Jean-Luc
2.
Jean-Luc Picard, as that's not his real name, but, that era of X-Men where he
Uh-huh.
was, oh my god, what's his name? Oh my god. The original Magneto and the original,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Professor X. Like,
Yes.
that X-Men era was awesome.
I
Like,
loved that
awesome.
era. Very
But you have to
good.
start all over now. You can't like, you gotta find a new character to play Xavier. Patrick Stewart, thank you, chat. You need a new Xavier, and that guy, the freaking guy that played Magneto was, the guy that, from Lord of the Rings, wasn't he? Or, Harry Potter?
Oh, Ian
Ian McKellen.
McKellen,
Yeah,
yes.
like, these guys were I mean, they spent money on actors that were the shit
Oh,
to
yeah.
play these characters. Hugh Jackman was no scrub. They
Right.
Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, I don't really know anybody else who was super important. Didn't matter because it was all about everyone. Only one cares about Wolverine. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, like Logan was awesome. People are mixed on Logan. I loved it.
I
I
loved
like.
Logan. I thought it was great.
I think if they had like, if they went with like dark origin story, the problem is they want to make all the money right now. But
Mhm.
you can't, because if you wanna reboot the X-Men, okay, are you gonna get Patrick Stewart, who's 1,000,000,000 years old, and,
Right.
like, half these other people are dead? Like, the fact that, you have to and they tried to didn't they do, like, a young X-Men thing that was really terrible? Was
They
that, like,
did. I
Dark
was
Phoenix or
checked out
something?
with all of that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
Phoenix movie, I was out. I didn't even watch it. It
Yeah,
just looked
Kelsey
lame.
Grammer as Beast. Like, I don't think Kelsey Grammer works as Beast anymore, though. And like, I just think like, oh, you never saw Logan, Michael? It's good. It's really good.
It's great.
Yeah. And by the way, like Sabretooth is a character, like in I wonder if I have a feeling Sabretooth will be in this Deadpool movie,
Mhm.
but like Sabretooth was so badass and like he
Oh,
was
yeah.
only in one movie.
Yeah.
And like the problem is though, they have to start all over and be willing to not make all of the money up front, and I don't think they're gonna do that.